Greetings, Inspire fam. It's your girl Angie back with another episode of Vow Triumph. Today we are talking about from this day forward. I want to break down the meaning of from this day forward, some things that you need to know about from this day forward, and 2 takeaway words that I want you to understand pertaining to from this day forward. The marriage vows are very important, and it's important that we understand what they truly mean before we take that jump over the broom. Stick around if you want triumph in your vows.
To be my wedded wife,
To be my wedded husband,
to have,
to hold
from this day forward, for better,
or worse,
for richer,
or poorer,
in sickness,
and in health,
till
death do us part. According to God's holy ordinance, I pledge thee my faith and myself to you. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 4 from this day forward. We are moving along so well. I hope you have been enjoying the episodes and have a little ways to go, so stick around with me. Today we're talking about from this day forward and a few things that I want you to know before we jump into the episode. The first thing is, from this day forward, understand that you are putting everything in the past. Whatever tiff y'all had, whatever rift y'all had, the day you get married, from this day forward, leave that where it's at. Don't talk about something that happened 1900 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever. Leave it where it's at. It's not going to do any good in your relationship moving forward. Forgiveness is key. The second thing that I want to talk about is you are starting a new and different covenant. This is not a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. It is completely different. So it is imperative that you understand that this is a marriage and it should be honored and treated as such going forward. Have you ever been in a situation where something has happened and you were like, from here on out, I'm not going to do this, or from here on out, I'm not going to do that, and blase, blase, blase. You were expressing what you weren't going to do from going on forward. So I want you to understand that I have been there. I understand exactly what you're saying. But what I want you to realize is from this day forward, it's pretty much the same exact thing. What you are initially saying is, I am going to do this going forward, or I am going to do that going forward, or I'm not going to do this going forward, or I'm not going to do that going forward. And if you want an example, from this day forward, going forward, I am going to treat my husband and wife with respect. Going forward, from this day forward, I am not going to be mean to my spouse or cheat on my spouse or whatever that you may have been doing in the past. I'm going to talk to you about 2 things of what from this day forward means to me and how you can apply it to your relationship. So there is something meaningful that I want to convey with from this day forward. Understand that it is a commitment. Commitment. Understand that when you think about athletes, whether it is hockey, baseball, NFL, NBA, track and field, soccer, whatever the case may be, all the best athletes put in time, work, and effort to make sure that they stay at the top of their game and at the top of the game. Think about LeBron James. In the off season, what is he doing? He's not clubbing. He's not taking a bajillion vacations. Well, he may be taking vacations that we don't know about. But what do you mostly see him doing? He's preparing his body for the in season, in the outer season. He's putting in the work and effort to make sure that he remains the best in the league. And that's why he is considered the best in the league right now. He's putting in the work. And the same thing goes for your marriage. If, and it's a big if you want the best marriage, and not best as in better than anybody else's, because everybody's love story is different, but the best marriage for you, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to take no days off, and that requires true commitment. And not just true commitment to yourself, but true commitment to your partner, true commitment to the relationship and wanting to see the relationship flourish. A flower doesn't bloom without watering it. Grass doesn't grow without putting water on it. There is a reason why I see commitment in From This Day Forward. And the reason is because from this day forward is onward and it's forward. The vow doesn't say from this day until February 28th, 2025. No, it says from this day forward. That means it's everlasting. That means there's no time limit and there's no time frame on that. And in order to get to that, you need to be committed to your partner and you need to be committed to the relationship. You can't maintain longevity and a long-lasting love without true commitment for what it is that you are doing. If LeBron James didn't have true commitment to the sport of basketball, he would not be where he is just based off of talent solely. He has to constantly put in the work to get to the point of his caliber. And when I'm talking about commitment, I'm not talking about just loyalty and faithfulness, because we all know we're supposed to be loyal. We all know we're supposed to be faithful. We're not supposed to be out here cheating on our spouses. We're supposed to honor marriage. We all know that, right? I'm not going to get into that and beat a horse that doesn't need to be beat. You know what you're supposed to be doing. What I want you to understand is that this is a promise to be accountable, a promise to be supportive. From this day forward, I am going to be accountable and I'm going to be supportive, whether that person is sick, whether we are rich or poor, whether we are well, whether through those periods where the woman is acting like Medusa, into the man periods, because we all know men have their little periods too. I'm really convinced about that. Sorry to all the men that I offended, but y'all do. But understand, it's a promise, it's a vow that you make, and you have to be committed to that vow. If you're not prepared, then don't say it. Have some integrity. It's okay to wait. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses as far as getting married. Just hold out. Wait till you find that right person that you can commit to, so you can passionately say, from this day forward, I'm going to be accountable for you. I'm going to support you no matter what we go through. When we, and I'm talking about Nate and myself, when we were going through our financial stress, one thing I want to point out with accountability and from this day forward is going back to what I was saying about leaving stuff in the past. Don't keep pointing the finger. Oh, you know, they say when you point one finger, three are pointing back at you. Yeah, you are a team. And when we were going through financial stress, we didn't say person A caused it or person B caused it. It was just something that happened. And we were supportive and working with one another to understand that, you know, we got in this situation, but we're going to get out of it, and we're going to get out of it together, and we're going to have a stronger and healthy marriage because of it. One thing I want you to take away from understanding commitment is that you have to want success for your relationship. If you're not prepared to give your all, you are not truly committed and you are not ready and prepared to get into that relationship. So that's what I want you to understand about commitment and meaning, in the meaning of from this day forward. From this day forward, you are going to commit in the form. You're going to make this promise, you're going to keep this promise, you're going to keep this vow, you're going to keep this pledge that you made, and you are going to be accountable and you are going to be supported no matter what goes on. And so that brings me into something else that I want to talk about, and that is from this day forward is ensuring longevity in your relationship. Like I said in the beginning, nobody should get into a relationship thinking that they're going to get a divorce. If you even think that, run. Get out of that relationship. That is not what marriage is about. That is not the relationship for you. That is not even how you should be thinking. Positive thoughts, remember, keep that negativity away. And when I think of longevity, I think of endurance and making it to the ends. A few things that I want to talk about that you need in your relationship to ensure that you make it to the end. And they're not in any particular order. It's just something that I feel as though is necessary to have in a relationship to have longevity. The first thing I want to talk about is forgiveness. I cannot express forgiveness enough. It is integral in your relationship. If a person makes a mistake, we are all imperfect. We make mistakes. We are flawed like nobody else's business. Show mercy to your partner instead of holding it over their head. Don't point those fingers like I was just recently talking about. Understand that you are going to make mistakes. Your partner is going to make mistakes. And this is where forgiveness comes into play and applying forgiveness. We're not perfect. The second thing I want to talk about is patience. Everything's not going to come like this. It may come like this. And what I want to convey with that is if your partner has a shortcoming, be compassionate. And if the shortcoming is affecting the relationship, be compassionate. Discuss it with them. Maybe you'll find out something that is going on with them. Maybe it's something that is bothering them or affecting them in a certain way. And if it's something that they cannot control, acceptance is important. That's a part of being patient with your partner, is accepting their flaws, accepting them for who they are. Another third one is a big one, and that's adapting to change. This means being willing to grow with your partner, with them individually and together. Naturally, the older you get, the more you change. I'm not the same person I was when my husband married me. I was an 18-year-old girl who knew nothing about life. Now I am a 31-year-old grown woman who has experienced some things, and I know a little bit of things. And so if my husband did not grow with me, we would have grew apart. So you have to be willing to adapt to change, and love the person as they're growing. That will pose a problem if you don't know how to do that. And I know we all love to stay in that complacent space and make sure that, or be, we're happy with where things are, even sometimes if it's negative. But you have to be willing to change, or at least adapt to the change. And then the fourth thing I want to talk about is communication. Dialogue is very important. If you don't have dialogue, how do you know how a person feels? How do you know about your bank accounts? How do you know about your mortgage that you have to pay? How do you know about the car notes, all the logistics of life? How do you know if you share kids together? How do you know what's going on with the kids? You have to be inclined to your partner to make it, and that involves communication. Put down those cell phones. Except if you're watching this, but watch it together. Put down those cell phones and talk. Communicate with one another. Convey your thoughts. Convey your feelings. Open the dialogue for a good and healthy conversation to find out what headspace you're in and to find out what headspace your partner is in. Extremely relevant. Last thing I want to talk about is something that I preach, something that I love, and that's positivity and hope. God showed me positivity a long time ago. If you are negative, your relationship will reflect it. Stay positive. Why? You really honestly shouldn't be in a relationship if you feeling negative about it all the time. Remain positive. Be hopeful that better days are coming. All relationships have gone through the hiccups and the bumps and the climbs where you fell back down and now you got to climb back up. We've all been there. We've all done that. But the difference between those that make it and those that don't make it is hope. And the hope that they had for themselves, the hope that they had for their partner, and the hope that they had for the relationship. They knew and believed in the relationship. And if you don't believe in your relationship, I can understand why you don't have hope. I just want to send some encouragement to all the engaged folks, all the newlyweds, and all the couples that are going through some kind of trial or tribulation in your relationship. We all go through the trials and tribulations of relationship. We all have daily challenges that we face. We all have humps that we're trying to get over and rivers that we are trying to cross. What I want you to understand is I know sometimes it can be hard to remember the vows in the heat of the moment, right when you're in the thick of it. I've been there before. But I want you to apply what you are learning. And that's what Vow Triumph book that's coming out in June is about, applying what you are learning and understanding your vows, being able to say, I need more patience, and then applying that. I want you to get to a point, I don't just promote relationships in general. I promote healthy relationships. I promote managing your adversity and not pointing the finger and just working together as a team. And so I want you to understand that from this day forward, in order to fully oblige to that vow, you must be willing to commit completely to the relationship, to yourself and to your partner. And remember that you should be in it for the long haul. I covered all the bases of having a long-lasting relationships. We talked about communication, positive thoughts, adapting, all of that. Now it's time for you to go do the work and apply it. I have courses coming out soon on actually working through it and doing the work, so stick around for that. But I really want you to understand and honor your vows, understand what they mean, have it down in your heart, take it wherever you go with or without your spouse. So I hope you enjoyed the episode and gained some insight and some deeper thought on from this day forward. Stick around next week as we talk about for better or worse. Thank you for tuning in.